With just 3 weeks of this legislative session left, Congress is trying to push through a foreign aid package for U.S. allies, including Israel and Ukraine, before the end of 2023. However, hurdles remain over where the funds will come from. In a letter to colleagues, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer wrote senators should expect long days and nights and potentially weekends in December as lawmakers try to reach a deal. Republican Congressman George Santos says that he expects to be expelled from Congress in the coming days. His prediction follows a House Ethics Committee report that found Santos broke the law by deceiving donors and using campaign funds for his personal expenses. So CBS News congressional correspondent Nikole Killion's joining us now to talk all things Congress. Nikole, let us start with Santos, though. He said that he expects to be expelled, and he kind of did a bit of a rant about the rest of his soon-to-be ex-co-workers. Give us a sense of just how this could unfold. How would he be expelled, and then what happens next?
Well, keep in mind that right after lawmakers recessed, the head of the Ethics Committee, Congressman Guest, filed a resolution, an expulsion resolution against George Santos. Now, granted, this is not a privileged resolution, and why that makes a difference is once a resolution is privileged, then a two-day clock starts where the House has 2 days to vote on a resolution like that. So that trigger has not yet been pulled, and Santos, in his rant over the holiday weekend, criticized the ethics chair for doing that. He also panned this report that the Ethics Committee put out right before the break, which really laid out a lot of alleged wrongdoing on the part of Congressman Santos, particularly alleging that he used a lot of his campaign funds, deceived his donors for personal expenses like Botox and taking these lavish trips to the Hamptons and Atlantic City. So that being said, Santos has said that he feels he can defend these charges, that there's a lot in that report that's wrong, but that is unlikely to stop this resolution from moving forward. And even if they don't move forward with Guest resolution specifically, there are other lawmakers who have threatened to file expulsion resolutions against George Santos. So there does seem to be a lot of will in the Congress right now to at least have this vote when and if the time comes, possibly as soon as this week.
So let's actually talk about some of the business that Congress really needs to get to, because sometimes I think like the Santos stuff is a bit of a distraction, because what they really need to do is figure out how to fund the government. They did successfully kick the ball down the road to early next year, but I hope that there are negotiations happening right now. What can you tell us about, the conversation, the talk about hammering out a deal to keep the government open?
So there are a couple of different things happening right now within Congress. Obviously, part of the reason they did that temporary stopgap measure in two parts, extending government funding through January 19th and again through February 2nd, is to buy some more time to complete these longer-term appropriations bills, which would fund the government on a longer-term basis for the entire fiscal year. So the House is working on their bills. The Senate is working on their bills. However, there are some areas of disagreement among many of the bills, and even on the part of House Republicans. They tried twice to move two of their appropriations bills before the Thanksgiving break and weren't even able to start the process because, they have to vote on a rule, and those rules votes failed, and those are pretty routine votes. So that means that House Republicans in particular have a lot of work to do, and so does the Senate, because they have yet to pass many appropriations bills. So there's not a lot of time, even though they kick the can down the road into early next year. They really just have a couple of legislative days to try to get this resolved and worked out ahead of the holiday.
All right, Nikole, thank you very much.
You bet.